My name is Julie Weidenfeld. It's an honor for me to present here today. I'm dedicating today's presentation to the students, the victims of the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School event that occurred, to the families and to the survivors. I know depression. I know it firsthand. I never thought I would be one to say that, nor know what it feels like. But in 2001, I faced a series of events that led to my depression. After having a physical issue where I lost a pregnancy, at the same time my husband at the time found out his job was going to be in jeopardy as well because his company was taken over. And then September 11th happened at the Twin Towers, where I trained for my financial career. So needless to say, it kind of left me pretty low. But one day in November of 2001, I found myself curled up in a ball in my bathroom, and my husband had no idea what to do to get me to move and to live my life again. But my sister called me, and my sister has been my mentor and my idol my whole life. She is an elite athlete, and I always wanted to be like her, but I never thought I could. She called me up that day, and she said, "Julie, I can't change what happened to you, and I can't change what happened to the world, but I would really love it if you would participate in a race with me." So my ears perked up, because she was actually asking me to do an event, a fitness event with her. I said, "Well, what does the race entail? What do I need to do?" She said, "Well, you're going to have to start to run," which at the time was my absolute least favorite thing to do. "And you'll have to learn to ride a horse," which was something I always wanted to do. The race is called Ride and Tie, and it is 2 humans and a horse, where we race over a terrain, mountainous terrain of about 20 to 30 miles. So here I am, looking around for a trainer to teach me how to ride, going out for my morning runs at 5 a.m., running distance like I've never ran before. Fast forward 9 months later, I'm on top of a mountain on my faithful horse, Mocha Brown, dead last in the race, not a soul to be seen. And I looked up and just stopped. It was a day just like today. The sun was shining down on my face, and I started to cry. And I knew they weren't tears of sadness or tears of depression or anger anymore. They were tears of happiness, because in 9 months, I was able to transform my mental state from being as low as I ever thought I could be to being literally on top of the world. My sister gave me this gift of transformation. And for the rest of the race, all I could think about was, how can I bottle this? How can I capture this in a form for everybody so they can feel this and they can have the same feeling of euphoria that I just experienced? Well, though there are many companies who try, there really isn't a magic pill you can take. But what I did realize is that exercise is more than just about building muscle. While that's a great benefit and it's needed for all of us, exercise literally gets into you on a cellular level. Exercise improves your cellular state, your biological state. So, my question is, for all of you to think about, is, will your health span equal your lifespan? Now, what do I mean by that? So, humans are living longer. All over the world, we're living longer with the amazing products and research we have out there. The United States, when I used to give my investment workshops, the average lifespan for men and women was about 71 and a half years old when I started back in the 90s. Today, the average lifespan for humans in the United States is about 78, 79 years old. That's a lot longer. However, how many of us are going to be able to live that entire 78 or 80 years in great health? I don't think any of you would choose to want to inject insulin into your body because your body isn't producing the insulin it needs. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to take pills to regulate my blood pressure and regulate my heartbeat and regulate my mood. So I developed my company called Peak Health 360. It's a fitness-oriented company, but it's also as much for your health and how you live your life as it is for your body. I'm going to share with you a couple of things I've discovered in my research, things that you can hopefully walk away with today and realize that, well, I know I need to exercise. I may not like it very much, but if I do it, I know I'm doing a really good thing for the inside of my body. First is brain health. I am amazed at what occurs in your body when you exercise to your brain. A lot of discussion these days is taking place around Alzheimer's and dementia and Parkinson's. However, there are thousands of studies that are now showing that with regular exercise, everyday exercise, just moving, creating that blood flow constantly to your brain is actually helping your brain build and grow. You're helping your brain develop more cells than if you were sitting at a desk in a sedentary situation day in and day out. So for those of you who do sit at a desk for your everyday job, or sit at a desk, or are sitting constantly, set an alarm, stand up, walk around, do some jumping jacks, join me for some burpees. It's one of my most favorite exercises. And get yourself moving. You can build your brain to have neuroplasticity, to continue to make cells, and to have really quick neuron transmission throughout your body. It's so important. Another interesting biological occurrence that studies show is exercise helps your mitochondria. I don't know if you remember learning about mitochondria in science in middle school or high school. It's been a long time for me. But wow, the studies I've read about actually helping what sources the energy in your body, mitochondria. If nothing else, I'll do exercise for that alone, because I don't want to have that 2 p.m. lag in the day. I don't want to have to reach for a cup of coffee because I'm exhausted in the middle of the day. So, what is mitochondria? Mitochondria is a part of your cells called the organelle that literally transfers energy throughout your body, all the way through, up to your brain, and to your heart, and through your blood vessels. That's the job of mitochondria in a nutshell. There was a study done in the UK where a group of people over the age of 65 who were pretty much sedentary were provided with a 12-week exercise program. Some of them had chronic illness, heart disease, diabetes, high cholesterol. The mitochondria on each of these individuals in the study was tested beginning, after exercise, and at the end of the study. And across the board, all of these subjects had improved mitochondria after engaging in exercise on a regular basis. Some of them even were able to throw away all their prescription medications. And it's true. I actually was able to help my husband when he developed diabetes, which blew me away. to help him get off of his insulin dependence because we started exercising and eating much healthier. So take care of your mitochondria. It'll give you tons of energy, and you can throw away the energy drinks and the coffee. So chronic disease is an epidemic. It's a pandemic, not just in our country, but in the world right now. More than 1/3, might even be up to 2/3 of Americans have chronic illness. But what if I told you that you can actually prevent that in your own body? You can control what your health span's going to look like for the rest of your life. Why wouldn't you want to engage in something as simple as exercise and moving your body? And it doesn't have to be an hour a day. It doesn't have to be pumping iron in the gym for 2 hours. What Marianne did for us at the beginning of this event is perfect to help you get exercise and start that blood flow. There's one last thing I want to share with you, and how many of you have ever said, oh yeah, I have chronic sinus infections, I inherited it from my parents, or I have diabetes, I inherited it from my parents? Well, I've done it. I was actually diagnosed a few years ago with high blood pressure, which blew me away. What? Are you kidding me? I work out every day, I eat healthy, I'm always moving. And of course, the first thing I did was I called my mother, and I called my sister, and I called my brother. I'm like, do you have high blood pressure? And their answer was yes. So I started blaming my dad. Sorry, Dad, I love you. Then I went into research mode. My analytical mind came out, and I said, well, what can I do to protect and to prevent any genetic predispositions that I have? Well, guess what? There's something on the end of your chromosomes, on the ends of your DNA, much like the aglets, the plastic things on the end of your shoelaces, that actually protect your DNA and help when they copy themselves. It actually helps protect the original DNA. And they're called telomeres. Guess what else? If you exercise on a regular basis, not only can you maintain the telomeres on the end of your DNA, you can actually help them grow, because over time, the DNA starts to degrade. Every time a chromosome has to duplicate itself, replicate, the telomeres start to wear down, just like the aglets on your shoelaces. So, this woman by the name of Elizabeth Blackburn, she's a Nobel Prize winner. She's a scientist, a biologist out of also the UK. She was studying telomeres, but she was studying them on algae, on not humans. And then one day somebody, a psychologist, challenged her and said, well, this is all well and good for algae, Dr. Blackburn, but what about for humans? How do we apply this? And Dr. Blackburn was caught in her tracks. She said, you know what? Let's research this. So they took a group of moms, single moms who were supporting their children, who were under severe stress, and some of whom also suffering at young ages of chronic illness, and they started to study their telomeres. And again, profoundly, after weeks of putting them through exercise programs and providing them with diet guidelines, healthier diet guidelines, and reducing the stress in their body, these women, their telomeres not only stayed the way they were, some of the women actually expressed new telomeres, longer telomeres. Now, I know I can relate. I'm a single mom, I'm raising a child, I'm sure I'm not alone. Beyond that, anyone who's under stress, which might be all of us right now, if we can change that environment and we can protect our DNA and we can actually help those telomeres grow, Again, I ask you, why wouldn't you? So, we may not like exercise per se. We may not know how to exercise per se. But no one ever said that you're going to like the hard work you have to do in order to be successful. If we work so hard in our careers and we're successful, why wouldn't we want to work that hard for our lives, to save our lives, to avoid chronic illness, and to avoid taking prescription medication for the rest of our lives? I challenge you. I challenge you to start now, start tomorrow, and if it's not for you, then for somebody you care about. Whether it's your family members, your friends. I'm constantly hearing in the news, see something, say something. I don't say that. I say see something, do something. Don't just say anymore. We got to work. We got to do. We got to move. Albert Einstein said, life is like riding a bicycle. In order to keep your balance, you have to keep moving. Well, I challenge all of you from today on to keep moving and get your health span to equal your lifespan. Thank you so much. My name is Julie Weidenfeld. My company is Peak Health 360. And I appreciate you listening to me today. If you have any more questions, I'll be around. Thank you.